Welcome. Today we are diving deep into a leadership style that's less about command and control and way more about connection and integrity. We're going to break down the power of authentic leadership.
So, let's just start with a quick question. Have you ever felt that pressure, that feeling at work where you have to put on a professional mask that just doesn't quite feel like you? It's an incredibly common feeling, and it gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. See, on one side, you've got who you really are, your values, your personality, your ethics, and on the other side, well, that's the person society or your job or your boss expects you to be. The source material calls that space in between the authenticity gap. It's that constant tension, and really, the whole point of authentic leadership is figuring out how to close that gap for good. So, how do we even begin to close a gap like that? It all starts with one single foundation, a bedrock concept that absolutely everything else is built on top of.
And that concept is self-awareness, the ability to just see ourselves clearly. Now, it sounds so basic, right? But think about it. With all the noise of daily life, it's actually incredibly hard to stay connected to our own inner compass. Just being able to recognize our own thoughts and emotions, that is the crucial first step.
And this is where the theory gets real. The source gives us these simple, actionable steps to build that awareness. You could start with a body scan, literally just noticing physical sensations in your body. Or maybe journaling to spot your own recurring thoughts. A really powerful one is the 90-second rule. The idea is, when a strong emotion hits you, just pause for 90 seconds. Before you react. That little pause can be the difference between a thoughtful response and a total knee-jerk reaction.
Okay, so once you have that foundation of self-awareness, you can actually start to build on it. The next step is to construct the 4 key pillars of authentic leadership.
According to the research, this isn't just some vague, fuzzy quality. It's a real structure, and it's built on 4 very distinct pillars. These are the components that take that inner awareness and turn it into real, tangible leadership that people can see and feel.
It all kicks off with that self-awareness we've been talking about. That's what allows for the next one, relational transparency, being open, being honest, even admitting when you've messed up. That, in turn, helps you with balanced processing, where you actually take in multiple perspectives before you make a call, not just your own. And the whole thing is held together by moral integrity, acting on your principles, especially when it's tough. You can see how they're not separate things, right? They really lock together to create a leader who is consistent and trustworthy. Okay, so that's the model. That's the theory. But let's get down to it. Why does any of this actually matter in the real world? What's the bottom line impact on a team or a whole company?
Well, after studying hundreds of its own teams, Google made this huge discovery. The single most important trait of their most successful teams wasn't about who was on them. It was all about how they worked together. The secret ingredient, psychological safety. And guess what? It's authentic leadership that creates the perfect conditions for that safety to even exist.
And when you have that safety, the results are just powerful. You see way higher employee engagement because people feel genuinely valued. You get more innovation because your team isn't afraid to throw out bold, even kind of crazy ideas. And what does that all lead to? Better team performance. This isn't just some nice-to-have quality. It's a real competitive advantage.
I mean, we all saw a massive real-world test of this during the pandemic. The leaders who were transparent, the ones who stood up and openly admitted, hey, I don't have all the answers right now, those were the ones who built incredible amounts of trust and engagement. Authenticity isn't just for the good times. It's a massive stabilizing force when everything is uncertain.
The most important thing to remember here is that this isn't some lofty goal that's impossible to reach. It's a journey. And just like any journey, it starts with one single, totally manageable step.
And that first step can be so small. You don't need some huge, life-changing reinvention plan. Just pick one of these. Meditate for 5 minutes. Ask a trusted coworker for some honest feedback. Or, here's my favorite, just set one simple intention before you walk into your next meeting. The key takeaway from all the source material is that these tiny practices, when you do them consistently, are what really create lasting change. Ultimately, authentic leadership isn't about learning a new personality. It's about having the courage to lead with the one you already have. It's about closing that gap between who you are on the inside and how you show up to the world. So, really, the only question left is the one right there on the screen. You already know who you are. Are you ready to lead like it?